You've probably seen the stat floating around that 90% of Shopify stores fail within the first 4 months. But here's the thing, that number, nobody can actually trace it back to a real study. So, what's the real story behind why Shopify stores fail? And more importantly, how do you make sure yours doesn't? That's exactly what we're breaking down today. Hey everyone, I'm June with Branvas, and in this video, I'm walking you through a 4-stage framework that diagnoses exactly where and why online stores die, so you can build one that actually survives. Whether you're figuring out how to start a jewelry brand, or you're trying to scale a Shopify store that's already live, stick with me on this. So, let's talk about that famous failure rate. If you search Shopify store failure rate, you'll find article after article quoting 90%, 95%, some even say 99%. But here's the problem. None of those numbers come from an actual study. Shopify itself doesn't publish merchant survival data. They share total revenue, gross merchandise volume, merchant count, platform level stuff. In 2024, they reported close to $9 billion in revenue and over $300 billion in GMV. That tells you the platform is massive. It tells you nothing about whether your store will make it. Now, what we do have is broader business data. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics says about 20% of new businesses fail in year one, and only about 35% survive a full decade. E-commerce probably skews worse than that because the barrier to entry is so low. You can spin up a Shopify store in a weekend, which means a lot of stores get launched by people who haven't done the foundational work yet. But here's the real question you should be asking. It's not what percentage fail. It's at what stage do they fail and why? Because the failures aren't random. They follow a pattern. And once you see the pattern, you can avoid it. All right, so let's get into the framework. In organizational psychology, there's a concept called a pre-mortem. It was developed by cognitive psychologist Gary Klein and published in the Harvard Business Review. The idea is beautifully simple. Before you launch a project, you imagine it has already failed. Then you work backward to figure out what went wrong. It forces you to confront risks you'd otherwise talk yourself out of. We apply this same logic to e-commerce. We call it the Branvas store viability pre-mortem, and it breaks down into 4 stages: demand, traffic, trust, and math. Think of these as gates, not a checklist. You can't skip gate 2 by throwing more money at ads. You can't skip gate 3 just because you have a great product. Each stage builds on the one before it. Most stores that fail never clear one of these gates. Some clear a gate temporarily and then backslide when they try to scale. So let's walk through each one, because once you understand where stores break, you can build yours to not break at all. Okay, stage 1. This is the most common failure mode in e-commerce, and honestly, the most preventable. Here's how it usually goes. A founder finds a product they love, builds a beautiful store, launches it, and then nothing. Crickets. Not because the store is broken, but because nobody was actually waiting for it. Shopify makes this trap dangerously easy to fall into. You can go from idea to live store in a weekend. That speed feels like progress, but building the store is not the same as validating the business. The demand problem shows up in a few specific ways. Generic products with zero differentiation, the kind you find on any dropshipping catalog, end up competing on price against thousands of identical stores. There's no reason for a customer to pick you. And if your target market is everyone who likes jewelry or anyone who wants to look good, your marketing speaks to nobody specifically, which means it converts nobody reliably. So how do you actually validate demand before you build? You look for concrete signals, not gut feelings. Check search volume to see if people are actively looking for what you want to sell. Mine competitor reviews to find out what customers love and hate about current options. That gap is your opportunity. Run a pre-launch waitlist. If people won't give you their email for early access, they won't give you their credit card. And dig into subreddits and forums to see how real people talk about the problem you're solving. Here's a quick example. A store selling generic women's jewelry competes against Amazon, Etsy, and hundreds of other Shopify stores. But a store selling minimalist, waterproof jewelry for active women? Now you've got a specific community to target: runners, swimmers, outdoor athletes. The product solves a real problem. You can price higher because there's a clear reason for the product to exist. And this is also why category selection matters so much when you're thinking about how to sell jewelry online. Jewelry is high perceived value, low weight, and high margin. A $60 piece can cost $12 to produce. That margin headroom gives you room to acquire customers, offer free shipping, and still be profitable. If you're looking for a low inventory risk entry point into a curated jewelry niche, that's exactly the model Branvas is built around. Now, let's talk about what happens after you launch. You hit publish, you share it with your friends, and then you wait. And nothing happens. This is the most common post-launch experience for new Shopify merchants, and the knee-jerk response is almost always the same: run ads. Here's the problem with that. The average customer acquisition cost in e-commerce sits between $70 and $87. If your store converts at the industry average of about 1.5% and your average order value is $45, you're spending $70 to acquire a customer who gives you $45 in revenue. Shatters before cost of goods and fees. That math doesn't work. Paid traffic is not a growth strategy for an unproven store. It's a testing tool. Ads can help you learn which products resonate and which audiences respond. But if you treat paid traffic as your primary channel before you've proven organic conversion, you will burn through your budget in 60 to 90 days with nothing to show for it. The stores that survive long-term build what I call the traffic trifecta. First, owned channels, your email list, your SMS subscribers, your community. These are assets you control. No algorithm can take them away. Second, earned channels, SEO, organic social, PR. These take time, but they compound. A well-optimized product page can drive traffic for years. And third, paid channels, but only to amplify what's already working, not to discover whether anything works at all. Most failing stores skip straight to paid without building owned or earned. When the ad account gets restricted or costs spike, there's no fallback, the store dies. So start building your email list before you even launch. Write product descriptions optimized for search. Create content that answers the questions your target customer is already Googling. It feels slower than running ads. It's not. It's the foundation that makes ads work when you're ready. And if you want a deeper dive into building organic traffic for product-based businesses, Branvas Academy at branvas.com/academy covers those specific tactics. Okay, so here's where it gets interesting. You've validated demand, you're getting traffic, but people still aren't buying. This is stage 3. The trust problem. And this is where most new stores bleed money. Remember that industry average conversion rate of about 1.5%? The top 20% of Shopify stores converted over 3%. The top 10% hit nearly 5%. The difference is not a better product. It's trust. The Baymard Institute has tracked cart abandonment across 50 studies and found that 70% of shoppers who add something to their cart don't buy. 70%. And when they looked at why, the reasons were specific and fixable. About 40% left because of unexpected costs at checkout, shipping, taxes, fees. Roughly 20% left because the site wanted them to create an account. Another 20% didn't trust the site with their credit card. And about 18% said checkout was too long or complicated. Notice, most of these aren't product problems. They're trust and user experience problems. And they're all solvable. New stores fail the trust test in predictable ways. A default Shopify theme with stock photos signals that no real brand exists here. Vague or missing return policies create anxiety right at the moment of purchase. No reviews means no social proof. Slow mobile load times are a silent killer. The average mobile page takes over 8 seconds to load, but conversions drop sharply after 3 seconds. People leave before they even see the product. Think of trust as a ladder. It starts with domain credibility, a professional URL, HTTPS, a real about page. Then visual identity, cohesive branding that looks intentional. Then social proof, real reviews, customer photos, user-generated content. Then policy clarity, shipping timelines and return windows that are easy to find. And finally, post-purchase experience, confirmation emails, shipping updates, and follow-up that reinforces the buying decision. Skip a rung, and you lose customers right at the rung you skipped. This is a lot easier when your product and packaging feel like a real brand from day one, not a generic commodity in a poly mailer. All right, stage 4, and this one's sneaky because it kills stores that actually figured out the first 3. Revenue's coming in, traffic's growing, customers seem happy, and yet the founder is running out of money. There are 4 numbers that determine whether your store is actually viable. CAC, what it costs to acquire a customer. COGS, what it costs to produce and deliver the product. AOV, your average order value. And repeat purchase rate, how often customers come back. Most new founders track revenue. Very few track all 4 of these at the same time. Let me paint you a picture. A store doing $10,000 a month in revenue sounds like a win, right? But if your cost of goods is 60% of revenue, shipping runs $7 per order, Shopify takes its transaction fees, and your CAC is $55, that store might be operating at a loss. Compare a low-margin commodity product at $30 with $15 COGS to a high-value niche product at $85 with $20 COGS. After shipping and fees, the commodity product nets you under $9 per order before ads. The niche product nets you over $57. If your blended CAC is $40, the commodity store loses over $30 on every new customer. It needs that customer to buy 3 or 4 more times just to break even. The niche product is profitable on the first sale, and every repeat purchase is nearly pure margin. This is why your product and niche selection in stage 1 matters so much. The margin structure you choose at launch determines whether your business can ever be viable. And here's the retention blind spot. Most failing stores optimize entirely for acquisition and treat retention as a problem for later. It's not. Returning customers spend about 67% more than new ones, and roughly 65% of revenue for a typical company comes from repeat buyers. If you're not building email flows, post-purchase sequences, and loyalty mechanisms from month 1, you're leaving the most profitable part of your business untouched. Cash flow timing makes all of this worse. You pay for ads today, you pay for inventory weeks before you sell it. Shopify pays you on a rolling schedule. Founders run out of working capital before the flywheel even starts spinning. The fix is straightforward. Run your unit economics stress test before you scale. Know your CAC ceiling, know your break-even AOV. Know what repeat purchase rate makes the math work. You can model all of this before spending $1 on ads. Branvas actually has a free profit calculator at branvas.com/profit-calculator. I'd recommend running your numbers through it before committing to any scaling plan. So here's the big picture. The pre-mortem framework isn't a reason to be paralyzed. It's a reason to do things in the right order. Most founders do it backward. They build the store, then try to find customers, then try to build trust, then realize the math doesn't work. The stores that survive flip that sequence. Step 1, validate demand before you build anything. Use search data, community signals, and pre-launch pages to confirm real people want what you plan to sell. A waitlist of 200 email addresses is worth more than a finished store with no audience. Step 2, pick a niche with margin headroom. High perceived value categories like jewelry, accessories, and wellness offer far better unit economics than commoditized niches. The margin structure you choose at the start determines whether scaling is even possible later. Step 3, build trust infrastructure before you drive traffic. Branded visuals, clear policies, social proof, and fast mobile experience are not optional extras. They're the foundation that makes every traffic dollar work harder. Step 4, know your math before spending on ads. Calculate your CAC ceiling, your break-even AOV, and your lifetime value target before you open your ad account. And Step 5, build an owned audience from day 1. Email and SMS are assets you own. Ad audiences are rented. Start capturing emails before launch and build that list alongside everything else. If you're considering a product niche that checks all these boxes, curated, high-margin, brandable, and low inventory risk, Branvas is built for exactly this starting point. You can check out how it works at branvas.com. Here's the single biggest takeaway. Shopify stores don't fail randomly. They fail at specific diagnosable stages, and every single one of those stages is fixable if you address it in the right order. If you're ready to start a jewelry brand the smart way, with curated products, real margins, and no inventory risk, head to branvas.com. The link is in the description. If this video helped you, smash that like button, subscribe for more e-commerce breakdowns, and drop a comment telling me which of the 4 stages you think is the hardest to get right. I read every single one. I'm June. See you in the next one.